This is the DOJ announcing its lawsuit involving Apple. The apps, how much you've paid for them. Let's listen in to the Attorney General, Merrick Garland.
Form of a 30% commission on the price of any app downloaded from the App Store, as well as on in-app purchases. Apple is able to command these fees from companies of all sizes. Apple has also suppressed the emergence of programs like cloud streaming apps, including gaming apps, as well as super apps that could reduce user dependence on Apple's own operating system and expensive hardware. And as any iPhone user who has ever seen a green text message or received a tiny, grainy video can attest, Apple's anti-competitive conduct also includes making it more difficult for iPhone users to message with users of non-Apple products. It does this by diminishing the functionality of its own messaging app and by diminishing the functionality of third-party messaging apps. By doing so, Apple knowingly and deliberately degrades quality, privacy, and security for its users. For example, if an iPhone user messages a non-iPhone user in Apple Messages, the text appears not only as a green bubble, but incorporates limited functionality. The conversation is not encrypted, videos are pixelated and grainy, and users cannot edit messages or see typing indicators. As a result, iPhone users perceive rival smartphones as being lower quality because the experience of messaging friends and family who do not own iPhones is worse, even though Apple is the one responsible for breaking cross-platform messaging. And it does so intentionally. For example, in 2013, a senior executive at Apple explained that supporting cross-platform messaging in Apple Messages, quote, would simply serve to remove an obstacle to iPhone families giving their kids Android phones, close quote. In 2022, Apple's CEO was asked whether Apple would fix iPhone to Android messaging. The questioner added, quote, not to make it personal, but I can't send my mom certain videos, close quote. Apple's CEO responded, buy your mom an iPhone. In addition to selectively controlling app distribution and creation, we allege that Apple is violating the law by conditionally restricting developers' access to the interface, which is needed to make an app functional on the Apple operating system. For a product like a smartwatch or a digital wallet to be useful to an iPhone user, it must be able to communicate with the iPhone's operating system. But Apple creates barriers that make it extremely difficult and expensive for both users and developers to venture outside the Apple ecosystem. When it comes to smartwatches, Apple not only drives users to purchase an Apple Watch, which is only compatible with an iPhone, it also uses its technical and contractual controls to make it harder for someone with an iPhone to use a non-Apple.
Okay, so you've been listening in. Kerri, I want to bring you back in on this. DOJ essentially saying Apple is such a monster. They've become a monopoly, making it tough for you to send videos back and forth with your mom, which, hello, don't get in the way of that. My mom likes to send me a lot of dog videos. But what Apple is saying is, listen, if you do this, they say, in part, it would hinder our ability to create the kind of technology that people expect from us at Apple. So it's a big day for the DOJ to tackle something like this.
It really is. And actually that video point he made spoke to me because my mom has an Android and I have an iPhone. I'm like, Mom, you can't get anything that I'm sending you and I get an iPhone. So he's not wrong when he says that's a real thing that happens, especially I think between maybe even children and parents. And this brings back a lot of memories, Shannon, from when I used to run these DOJ press conferences and how stressful they can be. But one thing I've heard from DOJ insiders who are currently at the department is that enforcing antitrust law is something that's very near and dear to this Attorney General's heart. He's passionate about it. Actually, it's this, and I've heard extraditions. And so if you've seen, the Department of Justice under Attorney General Garland has brought a number of antitrust enforcement actions, but this is a big one because it's Apple.
It is, and it's going to get everybody's attention. It's sort of like when you talk about TikTok and making limitations or changes to that. Users of these apps and these phones immediately freak out that it's going to somehow impede their ability to do what they like to do online. So we will watch that. But I want to take you back to where we were, which was this hearing yesterday. We heard testimony from Tony Bobulinski. I want to play another segment of that that's getting a lot of attention between him and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez when she said, what crimes have you actually seen committed?
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir? Specifically.
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption statutes.
Excuse me, sir. RICO is not a crime. It is a category.
Well, critics popping off on social media. Well, empty the jails. Oh, and for the record, all the defendants in the Georgia case brought by Fani Willis fall under RICO. Oops. Another one. The 5 mafia families in NYC are happy to hear that RICO's not a crime. Yet another AOC is proving once again why she should have stuck with bartending. Okay. So some back and forth there, but clearly RICO was an issue. And the first thing I thought of, too, was that Georgia case.
Of course. And that's what she's bringing. That's what Willis is bringing. And it's extreme, it's novel, it's sweeping to charge the former president, and I believe, 19 co-defendants, or I guess there are a few less now that some of them have pled guilty, with something that's normally applied against MS-13 gang members and the mob. It's wild. And so that exchange was a little silly, if you ask me.
That we remembered. Well, and Tony Bobulinski didn't limit it to RICO. He threw in corruption and all kinds of other things. I mean, he's there under oath, and he's accusing other people of crimes, including others of perjury and other things, too. So he made some serious allegations yesterday.
He did. And, as someone who has watched these hearings for years, who has prepped people for these hearings, I have to say he comes across as very credible. He's strong. He's smart. He may be even the GOP's strongest witness in this whole inquiry, I would say, other than the whistleblowers. He's compelling. And he talks a lot about how the Joe Biden brand, Joe Biden was the brand, and that's what they sold post-government life. And I think that's the key, though, Shannon. And that's why this has been tricky and confusing for people to understand, because I think we just haven't gotten to the point yet where the GOP have been able to establish this, direct link to, say, a foreign nation paying Joe Biden while he was in office and then making a decision for the country based on that bribe. However, Tony presented some compelling testimony, and I think it's for the voters to decide ultimately in the November. I mean, do they like the fact that the former vice president and now president's son was using their name around the world to do business with China, who's one of our biggest enemies? And that's for the voter to decide.
It is, yeah. Democrats say there is not that smoking gun. Impeachment is over. Republicans say they're going to press forward. So, Kerri, always good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.